Welcome, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in to this quick update. I have Jeffrey Shaw on the line, and I'm super excited to give you guys a quick sneak peek of his talk at Imaging USA in just a few short days. I want to take a second, and the holidays having gone by, I was really trying my best to take some time and acknowledge the things I'm grateful for. And what really kept coming up was the relationships I've been able to establish in this industry. It's just been phenomenal. And Jeffrey is one of the key people I was able to meet this year. And I'm so excited to be working with him more closely. I haven't really shared this before, but in my previous life, a lot of people know I have my master's degree in education, but I was also really active in personal coaching. And being able to combine my passion of education with photography was pretty cool. And now, as I've been able to work more with Jeff, I hear this incredible attention to language and the importance of being conscious of the things we're thinking about in the like our come from or our perspective on it has been really refreshing. And so I'm so excited to be sponsoring his talk, and he's got such awesome things to talk about. Jeff, welcome to the show again.
Hey, thanks, Nate. I didn't know that about you. That's really good to know.
Yeah, it's
Cool.
I think right from the beginning, when we first met, I think we all do this now. Like, you're on the phone with somebody, if you're in front of your computer, you go to their website. And I went into your suggested book section and was just like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna really hit it off with this guy. He's read like all of my favorite books, and all the books I haven't read are like on my list to read. Starting with Made to Stick, which was like the first one on the bottom.
Yeah.
That one is actually part of the name, how I came up with the name Sticky Albums. And so I think that you have a really unique perspective on business, on being really present with your customers, and also you've brought that same unique perspective into how you teach. And I think it's really well needed in our industry. There's so much noise. Everybody's training and teaching and trying to show photographers how to do stuff. But you bring with it, you're still working as a photographer, running the business, and you bring this awesome repertoire as a business coach that I think is an incredibly valuable way to teach people. I think that when I was a corporate trainer, I was always striving to combine like in-classroom stuff with digital stuff. And then I was always asking for that extra like budget to add a coaching element. It says, if you really want this knowledge to become behavior, you're going to have to layer it with coaching. And if every time we did, it was phenomenally successful. So I've been a big proponent of not just the kind of frameworks, but putting it into action. So enough on that.
Awesome.
So Jeff, tell me, we've talked a little bit about your talk. It's called Prosperity and Purpose, the photography business through a different lens. So at a real high level, what can people expect if they want to attend this talk at Imaging?
More than anything, they should expect a different perspective. You know, I mean, that's where I came up with the concept of photography business through a different lens.
Mm-hmm.
I think my perspective on business is I use the term upside down from the norm. Mm-hmm. So more than anything, people can expect a very different perspective. Mm-hmm. At its core, how I developed this particular program was actually a combination of a few things. It was in part a question I had for myself. A few years ago, I started really thinking, what makes people successful? What did I do different in my business as I talk to other photographers that just seems very different? Mm-hmm. How come some companies stand out from everybody else? So this is just sort of a running dialogue in my own mind that I was asking, and started seeing some common traits, common denominators.
Yep.
And in every case, it was just very different than the norm. It was completely backwards from the way everyone else built their business. And I think this is critical for photographers in particular, because most businesses across all industries are built backwards, built upside down.
Right.
Creatives, even more so. Mm-hmm. I mean, you know this. I mean, the way most photographers go into business is it's a hobby, it's an interest. You're good at it. You get a lot of praise from your family and your friends. Maybe you go work for somebody else for a little while. At some point, you decide, wow, I could make more money on my own, and you go off and you create a business.
Right.
And then if you're really, really clever, you hunt down clients.
Right.
And you try to figure out, okay, now I've got this business, I have bills to pay, I need to fit all these people into it. The truth of the matter is it's completely backwards from the right way to build a business.
Right.
You know, the right way to build a business is to know why you're in business, know what makes you tick, what your purpose is, and then figure out who you can serve, and then build the business for them.
Right.
So you've actually built the business to accommodate the people you want to serve. So the basis of this program, so when all is said and done, taking all this information in, including even some poetry, which I use a lot in the program, just some really old writings, just to demonstrate this is not new stuff. Right. You know, we've been living and running businesses backwards for forever. Yeah. So I love some older stuff. At the end of the day, I broke the whole thing down to a formula. So the basis of this program is an equation, a formula. You want to know what it is?
I do.
It's so simple, it's ridiculous. Like, got 30 years as a photographer, several years as a coach, and this is what it comes down to. It's purpose plus positive action minus limiting beliefs equals prosperity.
Yep.
That's it. You know, if you know what you do, you take the right steps, you get out of the way what holds you back, you get what you want. That's it.
That's awesome. I love it. And
that's the framework.
I think the simplest frameworks, the simplest like formulas or whatever you want to call them, are usually the ones that stand the test of time. Yeah. And I think you've made a couple really good points. One of the things I want to pull apart here that you mentioned is the concept of building your business upside down. And I can completely relate. That's how I got into photography. And I think what happens is there's something comfortable and safe about it, where Seth Godin does a lot of writing about going where it's safest is usually not going to get you very far. But when you find the part of your business or the risk you're afraid to take, that's usually the one that you should probably take as the most urgently. Yeah. So back to starting a photography business, it was definitely encouragement from friends and family. They're like, no, you should do this, you should do this. And it was a while before I was even admitting to myself that I wanted or was doing it as a business. It's like, oh, this is just a hobby. I just have to pay for all my camera gear. Oh, if I break even, that's okay. Yeah. But then you gradually end up in this position where you're investing all of this money on equipment, all of this time with your customers. And I think when you all of a sudden find yourself there, at least I did, that's where all of this frustration and negativity and even desperation comes into play. We're like, oh my gosh, the market is too saturated. I'm never going to make it. All people ever want is digitals. And all this negative stuff starts to creep in because of that path we took to get in. Yeah. Whereas when we back up a second and start to look at what's a better way to, now that we know all this stuff, now that we're here, what's a better way to structure our business? And I think that every time we've chatted, you do such a good job of including very tactical, actionable ideas and things people can take back to their business tomorrow. Yeah. But more importantly, you help photographers lay a better foundation from which to define like the vision and purpose of their business. And I think that's a really powerful distinction where it's going to make every other tactic they learn from you and from other people that much more powerful by having that foundation set in a really effective place. So,
great. This program actually is kind of jam-packed with a lot of actionable things. Awesome. It really is. I mean, there's a lot of just complete takeaways. Like, try this, try it in your business, let me know how it goes. Yep. It's jam-packed with that because to your point. And at some point in my coaching relationships, I almost always wind up apologizing for the fact that I can switch from deeply spiritual insights to wanting to make a buck so quickly that it almost jars people. Yep. So at some point, I almost always wind up apologizing. I don't mean to come across crass, but the fact of the matter is, like, when you ground something, my suggestion is you ground it and then run it. I'm also not the type of person that I do a lot of inner work. I do a lot of spiritual work and a lot of practices, but I'm not an airhead, and I don't just I don't live my life. I believe in taking action.
Right.
That's the balance.
Right.
So and I really want that point to come across in this program. Like, I don't want to put the message out there that you can manifest the perfect client and they just show up.
Right.
But that's just one part of it.
Right.
So it's one part of it is to identify who your perfect client is. The other part is to get out there and do something about it. One of my favorite quotes in this I use tons of quotes because it's just an inner experience, and I find it really grounds it.
Yeah.
And by the way, the quotes are all presented on a really nice slide, and the whole presentation is a sticky album, which is available at the end. So this way, it's actually a really pretty sticky album. So you got these nice slides with quotes. One of my favorite quotes, which was my advice to my children as I was raising them, was, "You have to meet the sun halfway." I was confident my kids were going to have a blessed life, that they were going to be, I had no reason to believe that their life was going to be anything other than just the way they wanted it, but I didn't want lazy kids.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, the sun will shine on you, the sun will shine in your life, but you have to meet it halfway. So this program is actually jam-packed with a lot of things that people can really take away and try in their businesses.
Totally.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for giving us a sneak peek. I'm looking forward to attending myself. Anybody who's attending Imaging, add this to your calendar. Imaging has a great app. You can go download in the App Store for Android and iOS. Jeff's schedule is right there. You can add it to your calendar or get a reminder to go attend. And afterwards, Jeff's also going to be in the Sticky Albums booth, so stay tuned for that as well. Jeff, you have a great weekend, and I look forward to seeing you down in Imaging.
And tell everybody to bring notes.
Yes.
Bring a pad for notes, because I tell you, my audience members always walk away with pages of notes. So come prepared.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Have a good one.
You too.